Smart, be a leader, be a star.
And we believe that if you work hard, if you study hard, if you treat people with respect, if you respect yourself, you could reach for the stars and follow your dreams.
WWE and the Creative Coalition, a nonprofit advocacy group, launched the Anti-Bullying Alliance, Be a Star, to prevent bullying from happening in schools and communities.
The tough guy never makes it in the end. If you were to use that to help somebody, it goes a lot longer, it lasts a lot longer.
Students were reminded that bullying occurs in various forms.
Bullying doesn't just happen on the schoolyard. It can happen over email, text messages, on GChat, on Facebook. But bullying is not okay.
Bullying is bad, and if somebody getting bullied, stop it or say something.
A message that hopefully all these kids will take home. From Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
It's hard to ignore the renaissance taking place on the historic Broadway corridor downtown. Once vacant storefronts are now being replaced by new businesses. The latest, a restaurant committed to locally grown and sustainable food.
LA's Broadway was the heart of the city's retail and entertainment industry in the 1920s and 1930s. It was home to silent movie theaters and the streetcar. Councilmember Jose Huizar believes it can be that way again, thanks to new businesses like Alma Restaurant that are choosing to make Broadway home.
Yes, well, this is exciting. This is yet another addition to our Bringing Back Broadway initiative. This is an initiative that we started 4 years ago. It's a 10-year plan, but we hope to bring back lots of businesses, theaters, hotels, to once again make Broadway a place that people come to shop and be entertained.
Chef Ari Tamor, who's had restaurants in both San Francisco and Santa Monica, chose Broadway for his new restaurant, Alma, for the area's eclectic vibe and youthful energy.
It's a great new community of young artists and craftsmen and people trying to make a name for themselves and serve the community as well.
Alma's menu will focus on locally grown, farm-fresh items, and the restaurant will be intimate, seating less than 36 people at a time.
All of our produce comes from the Santa Monica, Venice, and Hollywood farmers markets. All our meat is local. All of our fish comes from area waters as well.
Tamor is just one of a long list of business owners who believe in what's happening on Broadway. The recent openings of the burger joint Umamakatessen, the newly renovated Palace Theater, and the soon-to-open Ross Dress for Less are all signs that Broadway is once again ready for the spotlight.
Having chefs like the one here at Alma announce they're coming here, other top chefs are going to say, well, hey, there must be something happening on Broadway. Why is he locating there? And it's really a domino effect.
And what better name for a restaurant than Alma, or the heart, the soul in Spanish, as a whole new generation in a new millennium is again finding the heart and soul of Broadway.
Figaro Bistro, LA Brewing Company, and Two Boots Pizza have also recently opened for business on Broadway. Council members offer a warm welcome back for an ailing colleague. A longtime South LA small business owner is killed in a hit and run. And can you help the city identify historically significant places in the city? These stories and more in City Beat.
A noticeably thinner Councilman Bill Rosendahl returned to a seat in council chambers at City Hall for the first time since starting treatment for cancer. Rosendahl led the Pledge of Allegiance and later received a standing ovation from his council colleagues and those in the council audience.
People have brought food to the house. People have prayed with me. People have sung with me.
Rosendahl announced last month that he was diagnosed with cancer of the pelvic area. He received radiation treatment shortly after his diagnosis and recently started chemotherapy. The city is offering a $50,000 reward for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of the hit-and-run driver who left 78-year-old Jimmy Thomas lying injured on the street. Thomas died 7 days later at a local hospital. Police say Thomas was crossing Western Avenue near 55th Street at around noon on Monday, June 18th, when he was struck by a vehicle heading south on Western.
Anyone that's so callous that they can drive over an individual in the street and keep driving, they could commit other crimes and be just as dangerous to other people.
You didn't have to leave my husband in the street. My husband had a locksmith business. In all probability, you knew it. He's been in this community over 40 years.
Detectives believe the hit-and-run vehicle is possibly a dark-colored 2000 through 2005 Ford Escape driven by a black man in his 30s. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives at 323-421-2500. The Silver Lake staircases, the Hollywood sign, and this temple and even this tree in Little Tokyo are all designated historic cultural landmarks. And now the city's conducting its first ever comprehensive effort called Survey LA to identify places in the city with historical significance that may not already be well known. Community members with an expertise in a specific neighborhood who can help identify the city's historical places can go to myhistoricla.org. Councilmember Eric Garcetti joined residents recently to celebrate the installation of 107 streetlights in Elysian Valley in the area bounded by Gale Street, Riverside Drive, Riverdale Avenue, and the Los Angeles River. The lighting project will improve public safety in the neighborhood, which was previously unlit. The new LED streetlights, which cost $2.8 million in local, state, and federal dollars, use approximately 40% less energy than the city's older streetlights.
The Port Tech Expo, which celebrates new technological advances in the port and shipping industry, was recently held in San Pedro. Rasha Goel has more on this year's Newsmaker.
It's cutting-edge technology at its best. 2 electric-powered trucks were unveiled at this year's 3rd annual Port Tech Expo in San Pedro. All thanks to a public and private partnership, including the California Energy Commission and an independent company called TransPower, among others.
TransPower's zero-emission, heavy-duty electric vehicles are an excellent example of a technology that benefits the environment, uses clean energy, and by being capable of hauling 80,000 pounds, helps keep port container traffic moving sustainably.
Experts in the field say these types of vehicles play a significant role in reducing pollution. The old standard diesel trucks, on the other hand, were seen as a cause of the problem.
California medium and heavy-duty vehicles are less than 2% of our total vehicle fleet population, but consume about 16% of all fuel. The air pollution from this fuel directly impacts public health.
The big question, what about charging stations? How do we keep these trucks running for a long time? Well, I spoke to the creator of the new technology who informed me that these trucks are self-contained.
That silver box is our charging station. It's unique. It's a unique development. It's a 70 kilowatt charger. 70 kilowatts being the power level we can achieve with each of these chargers. And all we need to do is basically take a power cable from a fairly standard wall outlet and plug it into this box, and we can recharge the batteries in as little as 2 hours.
And TransPower CEO Mike Simon is excited about these vehicles and the benefits they have.
They eliminate pollution entirely and carbon, greenhouse gases. So that's the number one benefit. But the second benefit, which is equally important, is they eliminate fuel consumption entirely. These vehicles don't use any fuel.
And these shiny new electric vehicles, well, they aren't actually new. These zero-emission trucks, believe it or not, were actually retrofitted diesel trucks. From San Pedro, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Officials say the electric truck drive technology used in these trucks can be applied to other vehicles, such as school buses, and could potentially help create as many as 1,500 jobs in Southern California. Kids who live in a South Los Angeles housing development have had to play on old rickety playground equipment for years. But now, for the first time in over a decade, several playgrounds at the development are getting an upgrade that will make them fun and safe once again for kids and their families to enjoy.
It's out with the old as a worker runs a circular saw through this rusty old jungle gym. And it's in with the new as several playgrounds on the grounds of the Pueblo del Rio housing development in South Los Angeles finally get a makeover for the first time in over a decade.
I hope you've had a chance to play on some of the 5 playgrounds that have already been completed. So this is the 6th and last one that's going to be complete here on this site, and we're going to open it sometime around the end of September, beginning of October.
Pueblo del Rio, built in 1942, is owned and operated by the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles. The over 300 children under the age of 13 who live at the 660-unit housing development have had to play on this and similar rundown play equipment for years. Now they and the more than 2,000 teens and adults who also live at Pueblo del Rio will be able to enjoy new play areas and other recreational amenities.
This is a community of hundreds of families who rely on basketball courts and playgrounds and recreation centers, so it's wonderful that we're able to make this space over.
The city is investing $2.4 million for the improvement project. Councilwoman Jan Perry worked with the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Housing Authority to make the equipment update possible. And piece by piece, the playground comes apart, soon to be replaced by safe, quality recreational equipment all the residents, the young and the young at heart, can enjoy. And in addition to replacing play equipment, the makeover will include the installation of outdoor exercise equipment, basketball court renovations, as well as upgrades to the recreation center itself. In this week's list of things to do, the Sound of Music sing-along, making your own udon noodles, and a concert commemorating an important anniversary. It's one of Hollywood Bowl's most popular events, the Sound of Music sing-along, where the beloved classic plays on the theater's outdoor movie screen, and audience members sing along to their favorite songs, including Doe a Deer and Edelweiss. This year it's happening on Saturday, September 22nd at 7:30 p.m. But a pre-show parade featuring audience members in Sound of Music-themed costumes starts at 6 p.m. The Hollywood Bowl is located at 2301 North Highland Avenue in Hollywood. For tickets and details, go to hollywoodbowl.com. For another hands-on interactive thing to do, if you like Japanese udon noodles, why not learn how to make it yourself at an udon making class on Saturday, September 22nd, hosted by Food Story, which regularly holds cooking and tasting events with a focus on Japanese food. This interactive and fun 3-hour workshop will teach you all you need to know to make your own udon noodles and the dipping sauce. The class will be held from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Food Story Kitchen Studio at 460 South Spring Street, Suite 609 downtown. To purchase tickets, go to udon.eventb.com. Music Untold, KUSC Classical Radio 91.5 FM, and the Colburn Foundation present a concert on Saturday, September 22nd to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. The concert begins at 7:30 p.m. with a pre-show lecture at 6:30 p.m. The show at AT&T Center Theater at 1139 South Hill Street will feature, among others, tenor George Shirley, baritone Donnie Ray Albert, and composer-pianist Richard Thompson. Details can be found at musicuntold.com. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. LA's Pakistani Americans recently held a parade to celebrate their homeland's independence. As Gil Reyes reports, they also celebrated being American.
In a city famous for its diversity, this marked a first. LA's inaugural Pakistan Day Parade brought Southland Sunni Muslims to Exposition Park.
To be with Americans, American Pakistanis, to support America and Pakistan, of course, and it's just lovely being here. It's a lovely atmosphere. It's just the feel of having a lot of people you know, people from your part of the world as well.
This year marks the 65th anniversary of Pakistan's independence from Great Britain. Recently, the war on terror has cast a critical eye on Pakistan and its neighbor to the north, Afghanistan. But local South Asians we spoke to say they have far more in common with American ideals, excelling in fields such as medicine, business, and the arts.
It's about good people. We have good people, good educated people, people here who love America because we're Americans, but again, we're home away from home. I'm sure the U.S. is a country of immigrants, and you have people come from all places. And I'm sure they also take part in these kinds of parades, and it's lovely being here.
We're just celebrating Pakistan Day, celebrating that we're all coming together as a community with other communities. It's so exciting to be here.
This multicultural celebration included ragtime music from New Orleans, Also, trotting horses reminiscent of Mexico. They helped celebrate the diversity of Los Angeles. In a sea of green and white, the colors of Pakistan's flag. In Exposition Park, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
An estimated 150,000 people of Pakistani descent live in California, with the highest concentrations in the Bay Area and here in Southern California. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, I gotta finish this.
Wait, you're gonna post those pictures of Mary?
Yep. She thinks she's so hot.
But her mom and dad will see them. Her grandmother, her little sister, everyone she knows. It's gonna kill her.
Who cares? Just a couple of pictures. It's no big deal.
No big deal? Don't. This has gotta stop.
Hi, I'm Renee, representing for Juventus from Van Nuys. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
if you're in your offices, please report to the council chambers. Please report to the council chambers. I want to thank Mr. Alarcon, Buscaino, Cardenas, Reyes. Members, please report to the council chambers. Mr. Englander, I know you're here, so if you would please report to the council chambers. We could get Mr. Parks, Garcetti, and Krikorian to please come to the council chambers. It's my understanding that you're somewhere in the building. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council meeting. My name is Herb Wesson. I will be today's presiding officer. Again, it is Friday, September 21st. I want to say happy birthday to my wife. We're going to start off today with the presentation portion of our program, and we will be led by Mr. Tony Cardenas. Mr. Cardenas, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is with great honor that once again we commence.
Mr. Cardenas, if I could stop you for one time. What we're going to do, it's my understanding with your presentation, if all of the honorees would come and sit with their members. So if I could get Michael, agent, to come, if everybody would stand by the district that represents them.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Cardenas, let's get started.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good morning to all of you, and thank you all for coming. Here in the city of Los Angeles, we pride ourselves in celebrating the richness of all the cultures and all the people of Los Angeles and the diversity of our great city. 9 years ago, I realized that there was a unique and thriving community in our city that had not been received or recognized in these chambers with the kind of attention and recognition that we give them today. That's why in 2003, my colleagues and I officially designated September as Deaf Awareness Month in the city of Los Angeles, and we've done so for the last 9 years. We're selling Deaf Awareness Month this year with a presentation in council chambers today to honor outstanding members of the deaf and hard of hearing community from every single district throughout our city. In honor of this month of celebration, I have asked my fellow colleagues on the City Council to bring out and recognize an exemplary individual or organization who has contributed tirelessly in their hours and dedication and love to the deaf and hard of hearing community. I'd like to welcome all of our honorees throughout Los Angeles, as many of you are standing next to the council members of your district, and congratulate every single one of you for all the wonderful work that you've done. This year, I'm officially kicking off our annual celebration by honoring an extraordinary individual that has tirelessly served the deaf and hard of hearing community here in Los Angeles. And I also have the honor of doing the presentations for Council District 11 and also Council District 14 as well. So I'll begin by commencing with my honoree, Michael Anthony Spady. Michael Anthony Spady was born in New Rochelle, New York, and began acting at the age of 9. And has participated in several plays, including the role of Chief Liam in the award-winning off-Broadway show Emperor Jones. Also in 2001, Michael was awarded a scholarship to Deaf West's summer program in Los Angeles. Though his parents encouraged him to return to New York and complete his college program, he received his undergraduate degree in business in 2006 from Rochester Institute of Technology, where he also participated in track and field. 1 month after graduation, Michael was back in California, and since then, he has been in a few movies, including Sympathy for Delicious, which was in 2010 and received the Sundance Film Festival's Jury Prize winner, and also another movie, Hamill, which received an AFI Fest Audience Award for Best Feature Film, and television shows. He's been in television shows such as Cold Case and Love That Girl. Michael has also done commercials and the music videos like We Made It with Linkin Park and Busta Rhymes. He also recently received a full scholarship at the prominent Stella Adler School in Hollywood, thanks to his good friend and mentor, Mark Ruffalo. Michael is undoubtedly poised to continue rising and contribute his talents in every future role he enacts. And he's also a role model for many, many young people who want to be actors and be in those industries. And with that, I want to give Michael his resolution. Thank you, Michael, for all of your wonderful work and your leadership. And continuing with that theme of Hollywood, I'd like to also bring up the honoree of our council member, Bill Rosendahl, from the 11th District. I want to introduce to you Kathy Buckley, the 2012 Death Awareness honoree for the 11th District. Many of you probably know Kathy as America's first hearing-impaired comedian. During her late teens, Kathy's life was interrupted when she was run over by a Jeep while sunbathing on a beach. As a result, she experienced intermittent paralysis in her legs. Her recovery took almost 5 years. Kathy performs on behalf of nonprofits around the country and acts as the national spokesperson for No Limits, a nonprofit organization, theater group, and school which provides educational programs and accessibility for deaf and hard of hearing children. There's No Limits located just outside the 11th District, and I want to present her, Kathy, with her certificate as well.
I want to thank the councilman for this opportunity, but I also want to explain the importance. There's nothing wrong with being deaf, but there's everything wrong with not being able to communicate. And it's all about communication for the deaf and hard of hearing. No Limit provides services for low-income families that cannot afford speech and language and hearing aids. No Limits has over 392 families on the waiting list. My goal is to get everybody off that list, and I would love to invite each and every one of you to come to Culver City and see No Limits for yourself. You'll be pleasantly surprised in the program that we provide for deaf and hard of hearing children. May God bless you, and thank you so much.
Kathy shared with us some of her thoughts in the spirit of Bill Rosendahl. And my colleagues know what I'm talking about. As when we have a project or something in these chambers, Bill Rosendahl always breaks the model and says a few extra words, but they're always heartfelt and well-deserved in these chambers. And I say that because Kathy met me just a few minutes ago, and she ribbed me for about 3 minutes in beautiful comedic style. Also, I'd like to honor Cristina Jimenez, who is the honoree for the 14th District, Jose Huizar District. Cristina Jimenez graduated with a BA in Sociology from California State University Northridge in the San Fernando Valley. She is working to get a master's degree in special education, and also she thanks her parents who taught her how to be a leader and also to get involved in with hearing parents and deaf children and sports and camping activities. She has a deaf sister and hearing brother and is married and has to Julio and has 2 handsome deaf boys. She is involved with Holy Angels Church, Deaf Latino Club, Purple Works for Communications, and LAUSD as placed coordinator and is a placement coordinator for the deaf children. She attended Holy Angels Church that caters to deaf and also grew up there and learned so much about leadership, ethnic backgrounds, and entertainment activities. In 2008, she founded Deaf Latino Club as a non-for-profit organization. Deaf Latino Club is also known as DLC, which is a group of deaf Latino people of all ethnic backgrounds whose goal is to educate both themselves, the community, and also the history of the deaf and hard of hearing community. Throughout the years, DLC has developed into an organization that not only supports deaf Latino people in their academic and community endeavors, but far beyond that. The organization is open to all Latino and non-Latino, deaf and or hearing people as well. DLC welcomes and encourages students to learn about Latino cultures, traditions, and activities such as sports, camp. DLC also strongly encourages members to participate in Latino and non-Latino activities throughout the community as well. So with that, I'd like to give Cristina Jimenez her proclamation as well. The order in which we'll go to next, we'll go to Councilmember Buscaino's honoree.
Thank you. Of course.
Buscaino brought to my attention because he is the last numbered district, number 15, it's rare that he gets to go first. So since he pointed that out to me, I wanted to make sure that I let him know that we are flexible and we are willing to, bend the rules a little bit. Or bad habits, I should say.
Tony. Thank
Yes.
you. I believe, Mr. President,
Mr. Garcetti for a brief introduction.
I just, before we hear from Mr. Buscaino and his great honoree, and thank you, Mr. Cardenas, I just wanted to introduce the mayor of Pico Rivera, a great friend, Bob Archuleta, who is a great leader here. He serves not only as the mayor of Pico Rivera, but as a county commissioner dealing with Veterans Affairs, and I want to welcome him to these chambers.
I also want to thank our mayor, Bob Archuleta. Every year he shows up in Cypress Park on Veterans Memorial Day and does a tremendous job of bringing together the community. He is a graduate of Nightingale Junior High, has amazing sons who've come out of West Point Academy, and again, congratulations, and it's great to have you in the City Hall chambers.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Cardenas, for bringing this an important issue before the City Council. We're really going to carry on your torch here as you move on to the United States Congress. So just know that you have our commitment here to continue to celebrate this great community. And calling today, I have the distinct pleasure of honoring and introducing my friend from the Council District 15 for Deaf Awareness Month, Mr. Sidney Craig. I had an opportunity to meet Sidney Craig when I was a young LAPD officer, and as part of my duties, in fact, I worked for Chief Park's office, where we were putting together the golf tournament, the police celebrity golf tournament, and Sid and I quickly became friends. He was our liaison to the Hollywood community, and it gives me again just a distinct honor to honor you, Sid, for your great work that you've done in the deaf community. Sidney was the first non-hearing impaired president of the board of directors of Deaf West Theater in Los Angeles, which is a 99-seat theater house. Through Department of Education grant funding, they were able to open their play, The Big River, on Broadway back on July 23rd, 2003, and produce a national touring company. And it actually highlighted here at the Amundsen, right, the Music Center, that Jay and I at the time had an opportunity to to experience The Big River, which was an amazing production. Sidney founded the first theatrical agency known for representing talented hearing impaired actors, aptly named the Craig Agency. Sidney previously served as an LAPD Specialist Reserve Police Officer. He now serves his community by sitting on the Palm Springs Police Commission. He is also the chairman of the Human Rights Commission for the City of Palm Springs. He is also a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And Sidney, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I'd like to present to you the Certificate of Commendation for your great work that you've done within the deaf hearing impaired community. We thank you, we love you, and we're so proud of you. And again, it just gives me my honor to recognize you for your great work. Thank you. Thank you. Want to take a look? Okay, good. Go ahead, quickly.
Yeah. 1 minute. I would just like to thank everybody. I'm very proud for this honor today, and I tell people all the time, it's a language, it's not a disability. So it's good to see so much support. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go in proper order. Council District 13.
And thank you, as always, to our great council member, Tony Cardenas. You have done a great service. We will keep the tradition alive when you're gone, but I know you're going to be a great national representative as well for deaf and hearing impaired Americans. So we look forward to that, and thank you for that. Today, colleagues, it gives me great joy to be able to honor a great constituent and a great Angelino. Cindy Duhame Lomberg is originally from New Hampshire, but she got smart and came to Los Angeles. She was born with profound hearing loss and learned how to read lips from an early age. Her hearing loss was not diagnosed until she was 4 years old. She attended mainstream public schools and with the help of speech therapists learned how to speak with a clear voice. In 1985, Cindy was diagnosed with lupus, helping to explain her hearing loss throughout her life as well as an avenue for treatment. And we recently had our first lupus awareness week, I believe, here that we led. My policy director of many years, Sarah Dussault, who also was diagnosed with lupus, and so many other city employees helped raise awareness about that condition as well. But as I mentioned, Cindy got smart. She moved to Los Angeles in 1980 and into Hollywood, even smarter, in 2000 with her husband of 13 years, Robert, and her hearing service dog, Bilbo, who's right here. I don't know if we can get a camera shot a little bit lower, but Bilbo is right. There we go. There's Bilbo.
Give Bilbo a round of applause.
And a lot of people don't realize we have great service animals for folks with hearing disabilities as well. People always know with sight, but we have great animals that help us, our service animals, and Bilbo is a superstar as well. She graduated from Santa Monica College and Woodbury University in Burbank, which led to a career in costume and fashion design. She worked for the Boston Ballet and designed costumes for the UCal Opera and was recognized by California Apparel as an up-and-coming designer. She started Silent Rain, an accessories and umbrella business that focuses on hiring hearing impaired and deaf individuals. As an activist in Los Angeles, she founded the Garfield Neighborhood Watch and works with a multilingual community to address all areas of concern in her neighborhood and has been a big part of turning around Hollywood, which has seen the safest years that we have seen in my lifetime. She also is a great activist with us participating in the development of our Hollywood Western Streetscape Plan to help ensure that attention was given to the concerns of disabled, deaf, and hearing impaired as we look at new ways of revitalizing our streetscape. She's active on the Hollywood Division Community Police Advisory Board and is CERT trained for emergencies. She supports and promotes the Hearing Dog Program of San Francisco, and I am so pleased to honor our friend Cindy today as a leader, not only the deaf and the hearing community, but as a leader in Hollywood, Council District 13, and the great city of Los Angeles, to an angel in the City of Angels.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. To be honest with you, I did not get involved with the community to be recognized, and it's an honor. I didn't plan a speech because I was too nervous. But as I was in the back reception area, it felt like a reunion. I didn't realize how many of my friends would be here. Many of my friends are hard of hearing and the deaf. Tom LeBonge across the way taught me how to be the best community person I could be. I'm very grateful to you. Angela Gassetti, where are you, Angela? I thank you very much for nominating me for this honor. Thank you very much. Okay.
Next, we go to Council District 12. Councilmember Englander.
Right, thank you. Today, as we acknowledge the achievements, contributions made by members of the deaf community in Los Angeles in celebration of Deaf Awareness Month, I am proud to introduce an incredibly accomplished, distinguished honoree in Council District 12. I'm also proud to have California State University of Northridge, CSUN, in my district. It's in the nation that offers a comprehensive undergraduate program in the area of deaf studies. And it was the first post-secondary program in the nation to provide paid sign language interpreters for deaf students. Our District 12 honoree, Robert Sandansky, is a student personal specialist at the National Center on Deafness located at CSUN. Robert has worked at CSUN since 1980, As a student counselor, academic advisor, and an advocate for deaf and hard of hearing students, he has served as an advisor for the deaf CSUN students, a student body government organization that nurtures and empowers future leaders and citizens. Robert is intensely involved with the community as a chairperson of the California Families of Deaf Children Conference, a member of the California Department of Education Task Force on the Education of Deaf Studies, a board member of the Greater Los Angeles Community Service for Deaf People, and works as a regular volunteer at the annual Deaf Festival. But wait, there's more. Robert received a master's degree in counseling and guidance from CSUN and a bachelor's in social work from Rochester Institute of Technology in New York. He oversees interpreting, captioning, note-taking, counseling, student development, orientation, and tutoring services for 230 deaf and hard of hearing students each and every year. Robert serves on several other boards and volunteers with activities that work towards improving the quality of life for deaf and hard of hearing children and adults. Robert and his wife Denise have 3 deaf children. Denise is also a teacher of the deaf and is active in the deaf and hard of hearing community. In fact, CD12 is also home to the largest population of deaf and hard of hearing folks in the entire region, not just the city of Los Angeles. And a lot of it is because of CSUN, but most of it is because of people like Robert. And so, Robert, thank you very much. Congratulations. You do so much for our community, and we all truly appreciate it. I have a resolution of support as well. Thank you very much. Well, thank you. I'll go ahead and hold this. Oh, I'm sorry. You can get closer. Oh, this way.
Next, we'll go to
Mr. Cardenas.
Wait, please,
Okay.
please.
Oh.
If we could.
You grab the microphone in front of you.
Go ahead and use. That's fine. Please. Oh, we've got one.
I'll start again.
Thank you.
I've always felt privileged to be an employee at the National Center of Deafness, NCOD, located on the campus of CSUN. We're all team players within the community of honorees and respect. And we treat our individuals, such as our students, staff, and faculty. And it's been such a wonderful experience for me to receive this special recognition from the LA City Council. It's been one of my greatest achievements and honors. And the CSUN Deaf program, as well as for the deaf community. I feel very inspired in continuing my pride in such a successful program and sustain assistance. I will continue to do my best efforts. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll go to Councilmember Herb Wesson, Council President Wesson.
And Mr. Cardenas, and I appreciate you allowing me to cut the line, but I felt that there was a direct connection between Mr. Englander's honoree and mine, Michael Kwame Agin. That gentleman was his counselor at CSUN, and he graduated there with a bachelor's degree in sociology. Obviously, he was inspired by this gentleman, because when I look through Michael's resume, everything that he does is for somebody else. I don't see any personal accolades. But I just want to tell you, he is the son of West African immigrants, raised in Compton, and began school at the age of 18, and that's when he learned American Sign Language. When he went to college, he really found others that were deaf, and he was determined to do what he could to break the barriers between the hearing world and the deaf world. I just want to give you a couple of things that he has done. As a long-standing advocate for youth with disabilities, Michael was recently a job coach for the Marriott Foundation Bridges program. He also was an outreach coordinator for Council Member Tony Cardenas. He has been an advisor to the mayor. I could just go on and on and on. He is the president of Hear Zero, an African American deaf advocacy program. But I just thought it would be appropriate to chime in now, because you see, I think I heard somebody else's honoree said this was like a reunion. And I believe that you see a group of individuals, one helping the other, inspiring them to give back. And I want to present to a young man who's still a very young man, who has spent his entire life in giving back to those in the deaf community. If we could please give Michael a round of applause. Well, can you just grab a mic? It's okay. Mr.
No,
Koretz
over here.
got mine.
Sergeant, the mic over here. Yes.
Go ahead and sign for me this way. I just wanted to say that I'm very honored to be here. And this isn't about me, but it's about my community. My contributions in working with people. In my heart, it just feels like I need to give. I need to do this for those people. It's my passion. It's in my heart to give and contribute to my community, as well as the hearing and deaf community and everyone. So thank you for my opportunity to be here and honoring me. I really do appreciate it.
And see, Mr. Cardenas, the first thing he says, it's not about me. It's a good man. All right.
Next, we have Council District 9, Councilmember Perry.
All righty. Okay, that's us. Well, it's my pleasure to honor the two wonderful ladies who are standing next to me. First is Ann McNally, and this lovely lady in this beautiful dress is Sammy Chavez. Now, Ann is the Director of Parent Distance Education at John Tracy Clinic, or JTC, as 2012's Deaf Awareness Honoree from the district. Ann has been working at the clinic since 2008 and has led the way, coordinating and training curriculums that have helped parents navigate their child's development through preschool and college. JTC is a private nonprofit education center geared towards infants and preschool children with hearing loss. It is nestled in the historic West Adams district, and for over 60 years has been a leading diagnostic and education center serving more than 25,000 families a year. Now, Ann has shown tremendous dedication and commitment to JCT and to the parents of children with hearing loss. She's also been instrumental in providing free parent-centered services throughout the world, and so I'd like to thank her for her commitment to improving the quality of life for so many, and to thank her for all that she does to support our community. And now for Sammy Chavez. You look beautiful today. She is also a member, along with her mother, Patty, who is here in the audience. There's Patty right there. Give them a hand. A devoted member of the JTC family. Sammy attends one of the clinic's preschool classes, and Sammy is trilingual in English, Spanish, and American Sign Language. It's families like these that JTC helps every day, and so I'm really proud to honor both of you today.
Thank you.
take some more.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Thanks, Emmy.
Let's give her another round of applause. She's a little darling.
Next, we'll go to Council District 8, Councilmember Parks.
Thank you very much. Colleagues and to the community, we'd like to present today the 8th District honoree, Christopher Daniels. In 2007, he represented the United States and the United States Deaf Sports Federation to represent us at a Dries Cup competition in Munich, Germany, which was held July 21st and through 28th. He earned the U.S. berth by finishing second place in the 2006 USA Deaf Sports Federation Deaf Tennis Qualifying at Farmington Farms Tennis and Athletic Club in Farmington, Connecticut on September 9th through 10th on 2006. Although he did not win in 2007, he did represent the United States in a great fashion. Today, he is a role model and a citizen 8th District, and he provides significant constituent services and training to youth at Harvard Park in their tennis program. Recently, through his guidance, that program won the USDA regional tournament at Rancho Park and is on its way to Tucson, Arizona to compete in the Nationals in October 2012. Present to you Christopher Daniels.
Good morning. Yes, it's an honor to be here. I'm very grateful and thankful. I give honor to God. I give honor to the people that are here in the community that help one another, that using, and thank Bernard Park for the opportunity to help us and also this community, Los Angeles and the President. I want to use my gift to help others of all kinds in order for them to help them achieve their goals. And it was an honor to represent us on the national, international stage in Australia and Germany, and much more to come. And I'm looking forward to more tournament coming ahead. I'm looking forward to coaching my players and pros and myself and the team. So thank you.
Next, we go to Council District 7, Councilmember Alarcon.
Good morning. And let me first say I'm particularly proud of my alma mater, Cal State Northridge. We have 2 representatives from Cal State Northridge. So thank you to my colleagues for making such outstanding selections. It is my honor to recognize not an individual but a program at Mission College. The Disabled Students Programs and Services provide services to Mission College disabled students, including academic, career, and personal counseling, vocational assessment, job exploration, interpretive services, including sign language, and one-on-one and group tutoring. In addition to student services, DSPS works with faculty at the college on how to improve their accessibility to disabled students. For example, in order to teach faculty how to identify and understand disabled student issues, DSPS created Dare to Care, an interactive multimedia simulative training program. One of the workers at DSPS is Adrian Gonzalez, who I honored back in 2009 on just this day. Adrian is the instructional assistive technologist, which means he produces alternative media and deals with web accessibility issues for the college. He also provides sign language interpretation in both English and Spanish. He understands disabled student issues firsthand because he himself is deaf. He is here today along with Young Ji Lee, who is from the President's Office and serves as the Acting Assistant Dean of Title V. She works to improve student success and access at Mission College. Adrian and Young are here today to accept a certificate on behalf of Los Angeles Mission College Disabled Students Programs and Services. Thank you, Adrian and Young Ji. I'd like to mention the other workers at DSPS who could not join us today. Julie Dale, the counselor and instructor, Larry Resendez, learning disability specialist and counselor, and Robert Schwartz, licensed clinical social worker and instructor, as well as the Vice President for Student Services, which this program is run under, Joe Ramirez, who I went to college with and whom I know is a great asset to the college and this program. So on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, it's my great pleasure to present this not to one person but to the entire college disabled students program at Mission College, and I would ask Young Ji for her comments, and thank you so much for being here to join us.
On behalf of LA Mission College, we are truly honored to receive this recognition. We're in Northeast San Fernando Valley, Sylmar, and we serve about 450 disabled students annually. And of those, we have a very close-knit group of deaf and hard of hearing students. And programs such as DSPS is so critical. So we want to thank Council members Cardenas and, of course, Council member Alarcon for this honor. And we pledge to give that same dedication and commitment to our students. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we go to District 5. Councilmember Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas, and appreciate all you've done in this arena. And as it was said earlier, I'm sure we will pick this up, and we know that you'll do a great job advocating for the deaf at the federal level. I'm delighted today to be honoring Robert Arnold. Do you know that there are about 7,000 spoken languages in the world, yet only about 2,500 have a written form? In the world of sign language, there hasn't been a written system. And if you don't have a written system, there's so much less you can do to explore, learn, express, and share. American Sign Language, which we commonly call ASL, is its own distinct language. It is not a translated version of English. It is a visual spatial language, whereas English is a verbal language. ASL is recognized as an official language, but only in its signed form. Today, however, it can be recognized in its written form, thanks to Bob and his work. That's because he is the creator of SI5S, which is the written form of American Sign Language, or ASL. Robert invented a way to write ASL, and he has done so while respecting and expressing the three-dimensional nature of sign language. He has a wonderful academic background, including a Master's of Art in Deaf Studies. His master's thesis, A Proposal for a Written System for ASL, explained the need for a written form of American Sign Language and how the world can benefit from SI5S. But back in 2003, when he formed SI5S, he did not do so within the halls of a wondrous academic institution, but from a Starbucks coffee shop at Astor Place in Lower Manhattan in New York. In 2010, he formally presented SI5S to the public at the National Deaf Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Since then, it has grown in recognition to the deaf community, most notably by Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. And as of this school year, Gallaudet will include the written system in its freshman-level curriculum. Additionally, an 8-week online course will be taught by Robert beginning in October, and also beginning this fall, SI5S will formally be introduced to the ASL curriculum at Mount San Antonio College in Walnut, California. So it's my great honor to recognize Robert Arnold and his remarkable achievement.
I wish to express my honor and privilege to accepting this reward, and for everyone throughout the deaf community as well. This is a new road for us. The writing system is like a map. for anywhere you wish to go. So now we're not stuck in one place. We can go anywhere. So come, see, and understand us and our ASL culture as we travel through our experiences and our journey. And that way we can explain ourselves as individuals. We have a lot more to offer, a wealth of information about our culture. I'm very honored to accept this reward on behalf of all of us together. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Tom Labange, Council District 4.
Thank you very much. And let's give Mr. Cardenas another hand for his leadership on this all the years through, Tony. Great job. And your special deputy, I know there's a lot of inspiration coming there. Thank you, and good morning again, Mr. President. Michael Serrato is very special. Again, a matador from Cal State Northridge. Another great student from Northridge. Michael worked in the Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles and Van Nuys, assisting low-income families with various issues of law and family services. He helped complete complicated legal paperwork. He also traveled, which is so special. Get over here, I want the people to see it better. Okay, thanks, Michael. He also traveled the world, and he traveled the world to help promote and participate in international deaf youth leadership training. He called for the front runners in Denmark. While immersing himself in Danish culture for a year, he experienced hands-on activities with the European Union on policies and procedures and community collaborations, empowerment through visual communications. He flew to Ghana, Africa as part of a cultural exchange project to assist the deaf youth on leadership skills. This is the key to his success that he shares with others, that he cares about other people and he does something for them. Faced with the challenge, he doesn't see that as an obstacle, he sees that as a gift. Over the years, Michael has traveled tremendously through the world, meeting and interacting with many teachers on International Sign Language, and has been Michael's main source of communication while exploring to order the express communication and understand his peers, which is so important. He currently is president, co-founder, and founder, of Hands on Signs, which aims to promote and influence deaf youth and their families and those who are around them to set life goals and help them realize their dreams to a reality. He strongly believes in giving his life to improve and influence the growth of young people of all abilities. His vision is to educate and inspire and empower deaf and hard of hearing youth, and to the future leaders, knowing that they have things to have a voice so they can have a positive influence on society. It's with great pleasure that we give Michael this great commendation with the Great Seal of Los Angeles and salute you on Deaf Awareness Month. Thank you, Michael. And I want to just ask his parents and his grandparents to stand up and be recognized. With his parents, stand up. Good job, parents. Good job.
I would say thank you.
Say it again.
I would say thank you for always be here and make this event possible. That's important. So, do that.
Thank you. And Mr. Cardenas, we also have a second here because Francis Blend School is here today with a very special awardee of this award right now. And I want to give that recognition to Claudia right here, who is a teacher. Francis Blend School is located in Hollywood, not far from Paramount Pictures. And it was a substitute teacher named Francis Blend who created that school with the influence of caring for those who are deaf some 60 years ago. Claudia, it's great to have you here, and I want to say it correctly here with the calligraphy right there. Tell me on that. Requena. Give Claudia Requena a big hand, and give me a big D for pronunciation there. But Claudia here is one of our very special LA Unified teachers working with the school district as a pre-kinder teacher's assistant. She was well liked by both the children and the teachers that encouraged Claudia to take on the challenge of special education assistant tests. Shortly thereafter, Claudia received a call from Francis Blend Elementary School offering her a position as special education assistant. During her first 18 months, Claudia was assigned to children that were deaf and blind. She had to quickly learn how to communicate through and tackle these challenges. Claudia was so moved by the experience of teaching a child the alphabet, the numbers, the shapes that she now found a way of calling and working in deaf and blind communities throughout. She truly is an angel in the City of Angels. We salute you here, Claudia, for modeling your life as someone who cares and gives as a teacher. So give Claudia a big hand for this recognition at Francis Blend School. Great teachers here. Thank you, Claudia. Sorry. Say just a word right there.
I'm very honored. I never thought I would be here. Learning how to sign very fast really inspired me, and I want to keep going and teaching the kids how to communicate with everyone else. Thank you.
And Mr. Carter's, her mother's here, her principal's here, and also another superintendent of LA Unified. If the Francis Blend principal could please stand up and be recognized. And your mother, thank you, Doreen, everybody. Thank you, good job. Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. Good job.
Thank you. Next we go to Council District number 2, Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cardenas, and thank you for bringing us together again this year to be able to enjoy an incredible demonstration of the extraordinary contributions that are made by members of the deaf and hard of hearing community in every area of human endeavor. It really is a remarkable day when we get to celebrate this and celebrate the important role that they play in the fabric of diversity that makes up our city. So I want to thank you again for that. You know, Los Angeles is one of the great cultural centers of the world, as we all know, and it says a lot when we talk about a cultural gem in this great city. The Deaf West Theater is exactly such a cultural gem, which was mentioned by Mr. Buscaino earlier. Makes its home, I'm proud to say, in CD2 in North Hollywood. The Deaf West Theater is the only theater in the western part of the United States that presents professional theatrical performances to the deaf and hard of hearing communities as well as the hearing community. And it has made an indelible mark on our city over the last 21 years. The Deaf West Theater was founded 21 years ago by Ed Waterstreet, who I'm sure many of you know. Ed is a force of nature who is irresistible and has been an incredible advocate for the arts and also an incredible advocate for the deaf and hard of hearing community. And Ed, after 21 years after founding Deaf West Theater, is finally being dragged into retirement, I'm sure against his will. But he's going to be moving to Arizona to rest and golf in November after really making a mark on Los Angeles that will last for generations still to come. Ed really changed the theatrical scene in Los Angeles by establishing the Deaf West Theater. And in that time, it's gone from a borrowed space in Fountain Theater in Hollywood to its own home in North Hollywood. The Deaf West Theater has staged 40 plays and 4 musicals, including a revival of the 80s Broadway show Big River, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, that went from North Hollywood to the Mark Taper Forum in 2002, and from there to New York in 2003, earning 2 Tony nominations and a Tony honor for excellence in theater. In addition to supporting careers in the theater, though, Ed, Deaf West, and Ed Waterstreet have created what Ed has called the ripple effect of opening up opportunities for people in the deaf and hard of hearing community to have careers in film, television, and other means of performance. And Ed brought Marlee Matlin up to Sacramento when I was in the Assembly, for example, and helped her career along as well, and she in turn has helped Deaf West Theater as well. Before starting Deaf West 21 years ago, Ed graduated from Gallaudet University and was a member of the National Theater of the Deaf for 12 years. His Hollywood acting credits include the Emmy-winning 1985 drama Love is Never Silent. And earlier this year, Deaf West Theater announced that David Kurz, who I had the pleasure of honoring here in Council just 2 years ago, will serve as the new artistic director. Now, Ed is maybe already enjoying a pre-retirement vacation. He's in Ireland right now and can't be with us today, I'm sad to say. But here representing Ed are two of the board members of Deaf West Theatre, Melanie Vansel and Jeff Lenham, and I would like to present to them on behalf of Ed Water Street this I don't know what you call this, but this thing, I would like to present them with this thing in commemoration of the 21 years of extraordinary service to our community that Ed Water Street has brought us and Deaf West Theatre has brought us. And I want to thank you both for the contributions that you've made as well to continuing that service to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you so much. I'm honored to be part of the Deaf West Theatre, and I just wanted to say that Ed is sorry that he's not here, but I'm very happy that I'm here to accept this award for Ed. He's given so much to the deaf community and so much to deaf theatre. We're honored to know him. Thank you so much for appreciating him as much as we do.
In fact, Mr. Krikorian, it's not an award, it's a thing, this thing.
I too would like to thank this on behalf of Ed Water Street, who unfortunately isn't here, but it's my pleasure to be here in honoree along with her and hope that we continue to come to our wonderful Deaf West entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Council District 1, Councilmember Reyes.
Let me give you a box for that. Cardenas, in true form, the last get to go first, and the first sometimes have to take the back seat, which I appreciate very much. But Josephine Wong is, I
guess, an award.
And getting to know her and looking at her achievements is one of those examples of young people who deserve to be recognized for their hard work. She's also a Cal State Northridge graduate. She has been demonstrating outstanding commitment in raising deaf awareness. She has served as a volunteer teacher's assistant, reading stories to children, helping them with math and English. She later staffed Camp Pacifica in Ahwahnee, California, where she supervised girls ages 6 to 15. Josephine was also a staff leader for New Student Orientation, the National Center on Deafness at Cal State Northridge. Here she coordinated a retreat and organized activities for students and parents. She currently serves as a student intern for Councilman Cardenas. In this post, she has coordinated all outreach activities for Deaf Awareness Month, as well as art competitions for the Deaf Festival event. She currently serves for the deaf and hard of hearing at the Drug and Alcohol Rehab Treatment Center. And on top of that, as a constituent of mine on 3rd and Lucas, growing up in a city, in the part of the city that can be a little complicated. You've got like 60,000 people per square mile. It's a very dense area, very diverse. And to see her spirit, her attitude, the richness that she offers and her kindness in teaching these young people truly should be admired. So I'm very honored to have her standing next to me, and I thank you for all that she does. And with that, I'd like to present the certificate to Josephine Wong. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to share a few words.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much. It's an honor for me to get this award. And also I would like to thank Tony Garditas as well, and Bertha for all of their support for the deaf community. And it's without them that we wouldn't have this opportunity here today. So thank you.
Okay, to help me close, I'm going to bring back up Michael Spady to say a few words, and I'll announce our event next week, our Deaf Festival.
Hi, I wish to say thank you to all the people who have attended today and honoring me, my friends, my boss, my girlfriend, everybody, especially you, Council Member Tony Cardenas. And no matter what you face in terms of obstacles in your life, you can still fight for whatever you want. Go for your dream. And while you're here on earth, you're here for a purpose. You're here to make a life out of it. So, stay golden.
Mr. Garcetti?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, Mr.
Garcetti?
I just want to say, because Mr. Cardenas, well, this will be the last time Mr. Cardenas leads this. And I think all of us owe him a great debt of gratitude for what he has done to raise awareness in these chambers and in this city for deaf individuals and hearing impaired individuals. Thank you, Tony. Let's give him a round of applause and thank him.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Garcetti and members. Thank you. Next week's event on Saturday, September 29th from noon to 5 p.m. is now, this year it's going to be here at City Hall on our South Lawn. It's going to be our 9th annual Deaf Festival here in Los Angeles, and this event will close the celebration of Deaf Awareness Month. I'd like to invite everyone to attend. It's free, as always, and it increases in magnitude every year. We're constantly looking for fresh and innovative programs and activities to feature at our events every year. This year's festival will consist of many activities for the entire family, including a fashion show, free child photo ID cards, and a T-shirt screening workshop contest. Attendees will have the opportunity to get free T-shirts and a great opportunity to learn the process of making silkscreen T-shirts. In addition to that, I'd like to remind all of us that it's important to celebrate the deaf and hard of hearing population's contributions to our entire community and the diversity that we are so blessed to have. I'd like to also thank the Deaf Festival Planning Committee. They are a great asset to the success of our deaf festivals every year. I appreciate all of your efforts and service to the City of Los Angeles and to the entire community. Also, I think it's an opportunity, I'd like to take the opportunity, as was pointed out, I'm not sure who's going to take this on next year, but I have full confidence and faith that we're going to have every year bigger and better Deaf Awareness Month through all the efforts of all of my colleagues. And I'd like to thank Bertha Velasquez, who brought it to my attention and has made this a success that it is. Where's Bertha? Well, she's working behind the scenes as usual. Let's give her a big hand. I look forward to seeing this from wherever I'm at next year. Hopefully I'll be able to attend this celebration, but if not, I'm sure it's going to get bigger and better every single year. And I do plan on continuing this effort at the federal level as well. So thank you all very, very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. Madam Clerk, I do believe that we have a quorum. If you could please call the roll.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Carrasco, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson, 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Okay, Mr. Koretz moves, Englander seconds. Next.
Committee Trade Resolutions for approval.
Alarcon moves, Buscaino seconds. And that brings us to the agenda. Before we get to the agenda, members, we are trying to monitor when the Endeavor will be in our area over City Hall. So I'm going to try to get us out of here in enough time so that those of us that would like to see this will be afforded the opportunity to do that. Mr. Labange is working with our sergeants to make sure we get a feel as to when that time would be. But members, I want to put on the record now, it is my goal to get us out of here as soon as possible. Mr. Krikorian.
Mr. President, if I may just make a brief introduction.
Please.
Everybody here on the floor knows my great staff member, Matt Hale. Matt, through the process of genealogical research, came across some long-lost cousins in England who are here visiting us today. And they are Jan and Rick Morris. Jan actually works in local government as an employee of the District Council of Portsmouth, England, and I just wanted to wish them a hearty welcome to the city of Los Angeles.
Stand up, please.
Jan
Stand
and
up. Welcome. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's go through the first section of the agenda.
Item 1 is a public convenience or necessity item in Council District 1. A motion is required. There are cards on this item.
Okay, Mr. Reyes, you want to hold this for right now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll hold this item. That now brings us, I believe, to items 2 through 6.
Items 2 through 6 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials, members? Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Madam Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, where are we now? 7 through 13?
Items 7 through 13 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Without objection, those items are now before us. Cards?
Cards on items 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 13.
Members, any specials?
Just item number 10, if we can make an amendment to change the Bureau of Street Services to the Bureau of Engineering on item 10, but otherwise no special.
Are you clear on that, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, on Mr. Buscaino.
Item 5 forthwith for Mr. Cardenas, please.
Item 5 forthwith. Okay. Let's, on whatever's left, let's vote on those items, Madam Clerk. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Reyes, if you...
Excuse me, Mr. President. On the continuation agenda, item 14 is an item for which public hearing has not been held.
Any cards?
No cards.
Members, any member wanting to speak on 14? Seeing none, let us open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Forthwith on 10, Mr. President, please.
Without objection, we will move forthwith. Did the reappointment of Mr. Silcock happen without?
Yes, that was voted on and approved by council.
Okay, I see him in the back. Big Jim, you can go. You're good. All right. With that said, to continue with the presentation portion of our program, Mr. Reyes will be the presiding officer. Mic's on.
Okay, for our next group of presenters, we have the Life Insurance Awareness.
Good. All right, we'll get set. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Each year, Life Insurance Awareness Month brings the topic of life insurance front and center to millions of consumers, and this City Council continues to make sure that we get that message out to our constituents. Life insurance can do amazing things for people. It can buy loved ones time to grieve. It can help pay off debts and loans. It can provide family members with a chance to move on with a clean slate. It becomes a safety net and a stream of income that is absolutely vital in our economy today, and we shouldn't be living without it. Life insurance can do all these wonderful things, but there is a growing crisis of too many Americans not having adequate life insurance protection, and in some cases, no protection at all. The unfortunate reality is that 30% of American households have no life insurance, and that the majority of households that do are underinsured. As community leaders, it's our obligation to work with industry groups to draw attention to the need of life insurance. After all, it does provide a financial safety net that is necessary during times of hardship. This year marks the 8th anniversary of Life Insurance Awareness Month, and I'm thrilled to host a group of talented and hardworking insurance and financial advisors who serve our neighborhoods. We have with us today members of NAIFA, or NAIFA, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. These professionals behind me are the essential link between consumers and the insurance companies, providing a sound peace of mind to those who need it. And I want to thank them for being the premier advocates of life insurance for the City of Los Angeles. Their volunteer efforts are extraordinary. The work of ordinary people goes a long way, and I'm proud to recognize their efforts today by declaring this month Life Insurance Awareness Month in Los Angeles. You see, this month, September, is the month to raise awareness and to encourage all Americans to consider the benefits of obtaining life insurance. It's about educating people of the importance of proper insurance planning and helping Angelenos take steps now before it is too late. I personally want to thank Gil Mares, who is the individual who brought this with me to, there you are, over that side, to City Council. And I've been so proud to be with him and the entire leadership team that you see behind us, who are the professionals who also bring the association together to make sure that everybody here and around the country knows about this. You're truly an inspiration, Gil. Thank you for your volunteerism and all of our NAIFA members who are here today. I'd like to refer to a common saying we all know. Sometimes life gives us lemons, but it always doesn't turn it into lemonade. Life can hand us unexpected situations, sometimes cruel in ways we cannot comprehend, and it is only beneficial that we prepare for them now. Life insurance is that investment. I'm happy to bring it to light today, and I'm very pleased once again to declare September 2012 the 8th anniversary of Life Insurance Awareness Month here in Los Angeles. And I'd like to ask Gil Mares, who is the Government Relations Head of NAIFA LA, to come forward to say a few words.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Take this off you so you look better.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Welcome to City Hall.
Thank you, Councilman Ed Reyes. Once again, I'd like to thank the entire distinguished City Council for recognizing the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors serving the business and the family communities since 1890 here in Los Angeles, and also, of course, the distinguished President of the LA City Council, Herb Wesson, as well as the Honorable Eric Garcetti, who I've had the golden opportunity of working with him also in community service with another organization. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to pass the honor to our current president, Dennis Lawton, and we have a number of distinguished past presidents that are amongst our group, as well as the current one of the current vice presidents for the state of California, who has also had the privilege of being one of our past presidents. So as past president, I'd like to introduce our current president, Dennis Lawton. Thank you.
Brief comments. I'd like to introduce Ben Aranda, Tom Michael, and Gil Mares. They're, again, past presidents of our association. And on the board with us today are Michael Mares, Todd Roberts, Paul Sitar, Sean Coughlin, and special guest, Don Harrington, who is the current president of LAFSP, which is the Society of Financial Service Professionals. I thank you for your continued recognition, commendation, and support of our association and of us individually as life insurance agents in our Los Angeles community. Our history is nearly 125 years old here in Los Angeles, and I would like also to commend and tell you about Pacific Life, that has had a presence in Los Angeles as a home office and as an agency since 1906. I would like to introduce a good friend, Tom Michael, who is the first president in 26 years of our association, who next year will step up to be the president of California, NAIFA. Tom?
Thank you, Councilman Garcetti. Thank you to the chamber here. Thank you, Dennis and Gil. It will not be me that will upstage the endeavor. But again, we do want to thank you for this. I told Councilman Garcetti if he doesn't want to do anything after this, he can always go in the insurance business. But you know, the facts are staggering. 44% of U.S. households have no life insurance. 30%, approximately 35 million households have no life insurance whatsoever. And today, in households with children under 18, there are 11 million with no life insurance at all. In some, a majority of families are just one accident or terminal illness away from financial catastrophe. Every September we get together across America to do this, and we're lucky to do it in historic chambers like this. It's so that life insurance can be around and keep families in their homes and neighborhoods. It can keep children in a school they love. It can help pre-fund college or keep education dreams alive. We thank you for this opportunity. Last year, 2010, the life insurance industry paid out approximately $58 billion in life insurance benefits, and I'm confident that those monies have kept thousands of families and businesses moving forward. On behalf of NAIFA Los Angeles and NAIFA California, as a fourth-generation Angelino, we thank you for the opportunity to get our message out. We urge all Angelinos to plan properly, understand the risks involved, urge them to take action by meeting with their insurance and financial advisor, because guess what? Life happens.
Thank you, and it gives me great honor to present this resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles for Life Insurance Awareness Month in the City of LA. Thanks so much, and thank you again to NAIFA for your great leadership.
And that was an amazing quick pace.
The picture here, well.
Yes, we do have another presentation. And our next presentation, Councilmember Jan Perry, Fall Prevention Awareness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And each year I'm very proud to bring attention to a very important awareness campaign geared towards senior citizens and their caregivers. Fall Prevention and Awareness Week is an important effort to highlight the way we can help prevent painful and life-threatening injuries. Annually, about one-third of adults over the age of 65 and nearly half of those who are over 80 years old will suffer a debilitating injury due to a fall each year. In 2009 alone, there were more than 7,200 non-fatal hospitalizations for unintended falls among adults over the age of 65 in the City of Los Angeles. An estimated 11% of the Los Angeles city population is over the age of 65 and carry the risk through their daily lives of falling, which is one of the most prevalent causes of geriatric mortality and injury and is the leading cause of doctor, hospital, and emergency room visits. In addition, this risk and the fear that people carry can lead to depression, isolation, diminished mobility, and loss of functional independence. Through education, this can be prevented. Falls can be reduced by 20 to 30% through strategies such as fall risk assessments, medication management, fall hazard reduction in the home, physical activity programs designed to improve strength and balance, and public education. Fall Prevention Awareness Week serves as a reminder for seniors in the broader community of the risks associated with aging and seeks to educate older Angelinos and service providers with ways to reduce the risk of falling with information materials and handouts to community centers, senior housing centers, congregate meal sites, and medical centers. The City of Los Angeles, in conjunction with the Fall Prevention Coalition of Los Angeles and its member organizations, have made a concerted effort to educate other groups to reduce falls and other fall-related injuries. With an increasingly aging population, it is more important today to educate the general population about the risks to older Americans. And so now I'd like to invite my guests to say a few words about the Fall Prevention Center and Fall Prevention and Awareness Week. Joining me today are Emily Neighbors, Program Coordinator and Evaluator, Anna Nguyen, Research Scientist, John Panus, Co-Director of the Fall Prevention Center of Excellence, and Jack Bornoff, Senior Fitness Specialist.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Perry. Each year, 1 out of 3 older adults will experience a fall every year. In 2010, there were more than 7,700 non-fatal hospitalizations for unintentional falls among residents in Los Angeles City, age 65 years and older. and the average cost of their visit was $65,000 for every visit. Falls among older adults is a serious issue, but it is preventable. The Fall Prevention Coalition Los Angeles works year-round to raise awareness about what older adults, caregivers, family members, and senior service providers can do to reduce falls. This year's theme for Fall Prevention Awareness Week is Standing Together to Prevent Falls. This week provides an opportunity for groups across the state to come together and spread the word. In addition to the City Council's recognition, we have received a letter from Director Connolly of the California Department of Aging supporting the importance of Fall Prevention Awareness Week.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Emily Neighbors, Program Coordinator at the Fall Prevention Center of Excellence. And here in LA, we were very pleased to learn that City Council is working on how to address a major cause of falls in the community: damages in the more than 10,000 miles of sidewalk in our city. We urge City Council to make increasing the safety of our sidewalks for people of all ages a priority. Lastly, in the spirit of all the recognition that's been going on this morning, we wanted to take this opportunity to thank you, Councilwoman Perry, for the significant contributions you've made to raising awareness about fall prevention. Specifically, your work to ensure that Fall Prevention Awareness Week is recognized by City Council, and your incorporation of falls into your immensely popular Seniors Celebrating Healthy Living and Clean Air Fair. We present to you this certificate of appreciation from the National Council on Aging and the California Fall Prevention Network for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? You guys okay? Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go in the back and take a nice picture.
Okay, at this point in time, Mr. Krikorian? At this point in time, we're going to reconsider item 14. So if we could open the roll for reconsideration on item 14. Madam Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, is Mr. Garcetti still here? I know that Mr. Garcetti was going to participate in this presentation with Mr. Reyes. I will participate from the President's chair. So if Mr. Garcetti's staff would go and try to locate him, I believe he's in the back taking photos. And we will start off now with Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council
for a
President.
very important celebration.
I know everyone's antsy about observing the endeavor. It hasn't flown over yet. I'm understanding they're going to notify us, so we're squeezing it in. So I thank you for your patience. Colleagues, this is the 29th Annual Central American Independence Day. I want to thank the Council President for the opportunity to welcome today's honored guests. This Sunday, September 23rd, the City of Los Angeles will be celebrating the 29th Annual Central American Independence Parade. With us today are members of COFECA, Comité de Festejos Centroamericanos, who have long spearheaded this effort and have brought this celebration to the heart of our city for nearly 3 decades. Representing here today from Belize, Silvano Torres, Guatemala, Policarpo Cha, Amarils Ortiz, Mariana Francisco, from El Salvador, Jaime Penate, Omar Coleto, Benjamin Posada. From Nicaragua, we have Raúl Torres, Camilo Astacio, Rosario Toquilleda. And perdóname for butchering the last names. From Costa Rica, Regida Cordero. From Honduras, Leoncillo Velázquez, President Gloria Suazo. And finally, but not least, it gives me great pleasure to also have with us Jose Alberto Acevedo, the Consul General of Nicaragua. So the significance and importance is to be able to celebrate our cultures, our song, our music. This parade goes through the Pico Union area. It's one of the largest parades of the Central American countries. And with me to share a few words is Omar Corleto, board member of COFECA.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, all of you. Thank you to Mr. Reyes from City 1 and Mr. Eddie Garcetti from City 13 for giving us this recognition, and for all of you to be in agreement with that. Before all, you are all invited for the next Central American Festival in Parade. The parade, some of you have participated in the past, and you know how beautiful it is and colorful and loud. Next year, several community-based organizations will celebrate 30 years of their foundation, and I believe that SALEF is one of them, Carecen, El Rescate, COFECA, as well, the Central American Confederation. And with these 30 years, we have come a long way with you. Now we have Plaza Francisco Morazán, we have the Monseñor Romero Square, El Corredor Salvadoreño, and soon, I hope, if we get all your votes, the historical Central American District. For many, marks 30 years of opportunity and prosperity denied in the past by brutal dictators in our countries. We have come a long way, and if this declaration, would have been done 30 years ago, maybe we would have not accepted, because we hardly believe sometimes in independence. But we have fought hard to get where we are, to build a truly independence for our countries, for our communities, and that's why we're greatly and honored to receive this proclamation. And thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Omar. This is my last parade, my last Central American festivities, and it was a great honor to serve, en honor servir la Cuna Centroamericana todos los años. Felicidades y que tengamos un desfile maravilloso. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Thank you, and I want to say that it's an honor for me. I now have a very large Central American population, and I'm proud of them. They're an asset to this great country, and I'm very excited about working with them in the future. Mr. Garcetti got held up, and he just wanted me to say on his behalf that he's excited about you as well, and that he will never turn his back on you. Thank you, Mr. Reyes. All right, let's make it official, Ed. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
All righty. Forthwith. Not yet. Okay, now I'm going to go to item 7. Because we are attempting to see the Endeavour flight, all public comment today will be 1 minute. On no, you want to disrupt the meeting? Don't disrupt the meeting. Mr. Arnold Sachs on number 7, Mr. Walsh on number 7, please come forward.
Indeedy. The
Mr.
ability to
Sachs.
screw the public over is never ending.
Mr. Sachs, I rarely go to 1 minute. It is a special event that I want to release people to go see.
Yeah, and we appreciate that.
So now you speak on item 7
We appreciate
for 1
that,
minute.
that you're releasing the public, but you still have rules and regulations you're supposed to keep up.
The rules and regulation is that you're supposed to speak on item 7, and if you don't, you will forfeit your ability to speak.
I am speaking on item 7.
Then go
I'm being
ahead.
interrupted, though. So the rent escrow program, again, you're allocating funds for personnel to check into rent escrow. Have you allocated any funds and personnel to check into the foreclosure program that's supposed to provide the city $1,000 a day for any homes that are in rundown condition. We have yet to see a list of homes on your agenda that would qualify for that penalty. And why is that so? Mr. Alarcon wants a new program to enjoin the banks with library ID cards, I believe it was in the LA Times. But he's a proponent against doing business with big banks. But there's no homes in his district that have been listed and been penalized for the $1,000 foreclosure. And thanks for the 1 minute.
Mr. Walsh, HollywoodHighland.org.
Yes, this past week, 155,000 successful server requests. The world knows about our website, and I'm talking about REAP, and REAP knows it because my 1 minute, 2 minutes in front of you on June 29th is viral. Over 2 million people on the planet Earth have seen it. HollywoodHighlands.org, go there now, and we also say, you're actually doing a good job at REAP. I don't even need the 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's prepare to vote on that item. Let's open the roll. Let us open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Item 8, I have Arnold Sachs and John Murray. Mr. Barnes, I want you on the phone to make sure when this thing is coming. Yes, Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning again. This is a property, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. You're going to be using their 17-acre site. So I'm just curious to know, do they pay the property tax as a agency, unlike the DWP that pays no property tax to the city of LA? You would collect property tax from the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. The question revolves around the transfer that DWP makes to the city in lieu of paying property tax. Do you think, with the financial success that you've managed to lead the city through in these last 4 years, somebody would step up and say, you know, we ought to find out what the difference is between the property tax that would be generated by the DWP and the transfer that they make, because we have water districts like this one paying property tax to the city.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Okay, I don't see Mr. Murray, John Murray. All right, let's, Madam Clerk, let's vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, what's the next item, Madam Clerk?
Item 9, call special for cards.
Okay, John Murray again and John Walsh. Mr. Walsh, please come forward. HollywoodHighland.org.
I won't need the full minute. I want to see the endeavor too. HollywoodHighlands.org, as you said. Check it, or just Google innocence of bin Laden and John Walsh and see what comes out. This concerns MWD and Two Lagoons and the handling of water treatment solids. I think you've done a good job when it comes to the DWP on these issues. I think the rates are too high, but I think you've done an excellent job. So just go right now to HollywoodHighlands.org and see what you see about Osama bin Laden and the City Council.
Mr. Walsh, stay close because I'm going to call two of your items next. Okay, on this item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Now, Mr. Walsh, item 11, Mr. Englander.
8 and 9 forthwith, please.
Forthwith, 8 and 9. And John, after this, I'm going to call item 1.
As you know, I wouldn't get up every single item that I wrote for, except you cut our time. So I have to get up and point out that the whole world is watching this city council right now, and thousands of websites all over the world in Arabic watching me talk to you and warn you on May 29th. Number 11, support for Council District 4. It's my second favorite council district after Council District 13. And we're all in favor of the General City Purposes Fund and this money going to all our very, very good friends in Council District 4. Thank you. Tom LaBonge. Council
Okay.
District 4.
On this item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Walsh, item 1.
Item 1. And then I'll be back for general public comment where you really hear what I have to say. This, incidentally, is public alcohol. Too many alcohol permits. We have more alcohol. This is Hollywood. Everything is alcohol here, and that's why we have a high crime rate. This is a place called, you always vote all 100%. Bonita Mini Market, West Venice Boulevard. I'm telling you that you could not throw a 400-pound man far enough to anywhere in Venice to miss a place where you can buy alcohol. And alcohol, incidentally, is a poison, okay? It is a poison, unlike medical marijuana, which I've never used. HollywoodHighlands.org. Come to my website.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes.
For the record, I'm standing to vote no for this public convenience of necessity for alcohol sales at La Bonita at 1163, 1165 West Venice Boulevard.
Okay, so Mr. Reyes is asking for a no vote on this item. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's open the roll. My button is not working. There it is. Close the roll.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes.
I believe the city attorney is asking for findings for item number 1.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney, do you have to speak to the...
The council has to adopt findings regarding the public convenience or necessity. If they're not readily available, I would suggest it being continued over to next
City
week.
Attorney, we do have a letter from the Los Angeles Police Department that has essentially taken a position to not support a liquor license at this establishment.
Right, but those facts have to be stated on the record.
Okay, then let's continue this to make sure we do it right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Reyes is going to continue this item till Tuesday, I guess. All right. Next item.
Item 12, call special for cards.
Arnold Sachs. Mr.
Yes,
Sachs.
thank you. Good afternoon, Arnold. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. One of my favorite funding accounts, AB 1290 funds, $11,967. And just out of curiosity, when you kept the pool open, since this is the 21st of September, did that include Labor Day also? Was that funding included here, or was it just for the weekends? Of course, we're not going to get an answer to that question. But just out of curiosity, regarding the AB 1290 funds available to CD4, what's the balance of AB 1290 funds? It would really be nice. And since you're not getting those AB 1290 funds anymore because there is no redevelopment agencies, and since the city has found it necessary to give out so many perks over this past year is regarding tax write-offs, the ability for businesses, the hotel bed tax that they waived, and they don't have this AB 1290 funds.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Madam Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Thank you. Item 13, Mr. Walsh, John Walsh, HollywoodHighland.org.
I wasn't going to get up on this, but since you slashed our time, I'll get up. This concerns Department of Aging. Incidentally, I've been aging all my life, recently quite rapidly. We're in favor of the acceptance of grant funds to the city. Actually, you do a fairly good job with the aging. And I know you're in a hurry, so I'm going to help you by making you get to see the Endeavor 26 seconds earlier than you might have. Thank you. Hollywood.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Let's, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay. I'm now going to begin general public comment. Daniel Garcia, Arnold Sachs, Dr. Tom Williams. Please come forward. Welcome, Daniel. Good to see you.
I'm Daniel Garcia, and I am a citizen advocate for the area of downtown and in Burbank, Burbank and South. And I was a citizen advocate for the area of Ed Reyes and Jose Rizal. I just want to mention that for September, at the end of September, I will not be citizen advocate for Jose Rizal or Ed Reyes, so I will be unemployed again. Or all of the people who want to get to.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, thank you. Mr. Sachs, come on. Yes, Mr. Alacon. 13 forthwith. Come on. Okay, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Arnold Sachs. Mr. Arnold Sachs. Everybody has 1 minute, Mr. Garcia. Everybody has 1 minute today. Mr. Sachs. Come on, Mr. Garcia. Come forward, Mr. Sachs.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yes, 1 minute. Yes, we have rules and regulations. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Except for that side. There's 6, 7 council people in the chambers, but those rules don't apply. The life insurance that you recognize today, man mentioned that he paid out $58 billion in benefits, but he never mentioned how much money they made in profits. And I'm certainly glad to hear the Fall Prevention Institute discuss the sidewalk situation in the city of L.A. You know, you did a survey on billboards. You had the public go out and do the billboard survey in some of the districts, but you want to spend $10 million on a sidewalk survey. Oh, and by the way, AEG is being sold. The mayor knew, but the people doing the negotiations for the city, the councilman and the CEO and the CAO, nobody knew. Good thing you have that non-binding memorandum of understanding. You remember that, Mr. City Attorney, non-binding?
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Williams. It's my understanding that it is not in Ventura yet. It has not arrived at Malibu. When it gets to Malibu, that's when we will recess. Mr. Williams. Dr. Williams.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council. What did we just celebrate? We celebrated life without hearing. Can we celebrate life without cancer? Maybe someday. Question: who's a donor? In this room, between the age of 18 and 40, you can donate bone marrow. We need it. Life needs it. I lost my father. I lost my mother. My sister has been a survivor 3 times over, and I lost my son. And I expect to lose myself. Question, why can't we get donors? I was committed to my son to go through 90 days of hell on him. What? Because he had a donor. Many people don't have donors. We need donors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Winship. And after Mr. Winship, I'm going to recommend that we recess this meeting for 20 minutes.
Will my comments be that bad?
No. You just pulled the short straw. Go ahead, sir.
I'm here speaking on behalf of trying to stop the golf division from making a very bad business decision. I'm asking that the council put on the agenda a hearing on this matter. They have tried to, or they're attempting to throw the John Wells company out of the Hanson Dam facility, and it will do great harm to the program. Mr. Ward has played I've Got a Secret, and we don't know what is going on other than he's trying to take over all the driving ranges, including the 3-generation barber facility at Griffith Park. So anyway, I'd appreciate it if you could put it on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call up Mr. John Walsh, general public comment, and you'll be the last one because it seemed to bother Mr. Winship, so I don't want him to go away mad. Yes, Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, I was on Geraldo Rivera's network show, Fox News Channel. Watch it. It's on the website now. Go to our website. Another website you must go to, Front Page Online. You'll see the full story of what happened on Hollywood and Vine with the Osama bin Laden film. As far as the debate the other night in Hollywood, Eric Garcetti insulted Tracy and the moderator and her mother. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to know exactly what happened and how he insulted the mother of Tracy Savage, go to Ron K. LA and Mayor Sam LA. You will find everything. As far as AEG, the mayor is lying. I have back channels to AEG. I was told he was never informed that they were negotiating. He lies about his mother. The mayor lies about his father. He lies about his stepfather. He lies about his children.
Thank you.
He's a liar.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to recess for 20 minutes. Members, you must return in 20 minutes. We are recessed. Mr. Labange.
Flies east of the LA River. Okay. So in 20 minutes, maybe it gets cruises around. Just give us a little extra minute if it's going that way.
Okay. members that have successfly made it back. Mr. Krikorian, Mr. Koretz, Mr. Englander, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Buscaino. Our city attorney made it. And I did get a chance to see it. A glimpse. So we're just waiting for returning members, and then we will reconvene the council meeting and take the last public comment cards. Let's wait until we're back in session, Mr. Dude. We're waiting for enough members to return from viewing the endeavor so that we can reconvene the council meeting. If we could call the members on their cell, try to find out where they are. We need 3 members. Mr. Garcetti. Garcetti has arrived. Alarcon just stepped in the back, and he was here. See, there's Mr. Alarcon, so put him back on the queue. Need one more member. Mr. Labange is here. Okay. So now we do have a quorum, Madam Clerk. We will continue with our general public comment portion of today's council meeting. I have a Matt Madsen, Tony Mozzolito, and William Lewis. Please come forward. First one to the mic, first one to speak.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is William Lewis. I'm from San Fernando Valley. On behalf of the Hanson Dam John Wells Golf Pro Shop, I just wanted to point out that your general manager of the golfing in the city of Los Angeles points out that it would only take about a month to replace the Wells organization there. And if past history shows us anything, Wood League Lakes Golf Course has been empty for 8 solid months, at a loss of revenue to the city and enjoyment to the golfing community. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, sir.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Tony Manziotti. I want to first apologize. I know that Mr. Alarcon, I've driven his staff crazy with this, but the golf community is the only people that uses the golf courses in the city. And when more than 2,000 members of the golf community sign a petition that says the closing of the John Wells Pro Shop and the taking over of the driving range at Hanson Dam is something they are against, and the Department of Rec and Parks and the Golf Division pays absolutely no attention to the people who actually play golf and use the golf courses, the people that actually are there paying their money, then we're being treated like ugly red-headed stepchildren. We don't want this to happen, and everybody acts like Rec and Park is telling them the truth. They are not. And if this council will call them in and let them explain their actions, they have a business plan that's ready in the spring. Please ask them to hold off on any further things like closing John Wells Pro Shop and everything else until the spring when you can look at their business plan. Because right now it isn't working and the city is suffering. The golf community is suffering. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, followed by Craig Wessling, followed by Dennis Davidson. If you two would please come forward. Yes, sir.
My name is Matt Madsen. I'm the vice president of the junior golf program at Hansen Dam, which started more than 42 years ago. It is unpaid for by any outside governmental entity at all. We have around 50 to 60 kids every year. We play every Saturday from 10 o'clock until noon. Bill Hawes started there as a little kid. Anthony Kim started there. We have 4 rules that we have to abide by. What the kids have to do is, number 1, is if they see someone that they don't recognize, they have to go introduce themselves and welcome them to the club, because you know how young kids are shy, and they know how they felt when they came in. Number 2 is you have to dress like golfers. No side hats, no things like that. Number 3 is you've got to get better grades.
Finish your sentence.
Better grades than you came in with, or you cannot play.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Craig Wessling, Dennis Davidson, and Dow House Dude. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Really what is being asked for here is just to put this off until there's a plan. We're told at the Parks and Rec that there will be a plan in place in spring, but when the lady was pressed on how far along the plan has gotten, she said, well, we really only had one brainstorming session. It's a no-brainer. We'll do what it takes, and you're making money monthly off of John Wells as it exists now. If there's a better plan, put it in place, but just wait until all the information is in and you see the plan, and the plan is ready to be put into place. We're not asking for anything more than that, just a plan. It seems like a no-brainer, but I haven't seen a plan, and I don't think anybody else has either. Thank you.
Next.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dennis Davidson. I'm a golf pro manager at Hansen Dam for the last 15 years. Here just to mention that I head up the professional staff who supplies the services to the golf patrons of the city. We strive to make everyone's golf experience, a good one at Hansen Dam. The golf business is built on personal relationships and service. On October 4th, the doors will close at Hansen Dam Pro Shop and be replaced by a range ball machine. In this day and age when the city is cutting back on services due to budget restraints, we provide these services to the city for free. In fact, the city actually makes money on us. I'd want to mention that history tends to repeat itself if we ignore it. Years ago, when the city golf program was new, it was the Parks and Rec Department was tried to self-operate, and eventually somebody... Thank you.
Finish your last sentence.
Eventually somebody figured out that the city Parks and Rec Department couldn't run the golf operation, and they hired expert contractors in the golf, restaurant, and cart rental department. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dude, followed by, I believe it's Leah Hines, followed by Rusty Milan. Yes. Wait a minute. Mr. Alarcon.
Mr. West, I think it's necessary for me to at least make a comment that my staff is in communication with Rec and Parks, but I'm very disappointed that the Rec and Parks did not advise me that they were going to change the function, so I'll be happy to pursue it, and as the chair of the committee, you can bet I will follow up on it.
Okay. Mr. Dude.
Yes, in my book, which is
available to everyone in the internet entitled The United World of Free and Clear. In that book, I outlined what we just saw. We just saw the endeavor go by. We are so advanced in so many fields, but in the field of housing for everyone, we are still living in the Middle Ages. We are still in a landlord-tenant society where the feudal lord takes all your energies, all your life, all the money that you make, just so you can have a place to live. We need to advance, and there are ways to do that. But we have to start with real estate because it's the most basic human right that we can have. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come forward.
Leah Haynes. That's a tough act to follow without a hat. I tried to get here for the 8:30 meeting this morning about genetically modified food, but I took the not yet quite so friendly public transit and got here late. So I waited just to say I am the daughter of a farmer. In a country that lives by let the buyer beware, I just want to encourage Mr. LeBon and yourself to support the idea of labeling genetically modified food and let Los Angeles be a place that's known for informing the citizens and trusting us to make our decisions if we have that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for waiting so long. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the City Council, my name is Rusty Millar. I'm a member of the Silver Lake Neighborhood Council, the hipster capital of the planet now. This is just to give a shout out to some great guys in the Bureau of Street Services. Labor Day weekend, when most people are off doing something else, I was at the Silver Lake Farmers Market, and I was stopped by someone about some potholes on his street, Murray Circle, which is in Council District 4. And, well, okay, presently. And so the guy got all over me about this, and I don't have any cold patch in my backyard, but so I said, you know, give me your address, and so I sent an email off to Ron Olive in the Department of Street Services, or Bureau of Street Services, and this is Saturday, Labor Day weekend. He got back to me that day, and with a copy email to Keith Mosey, John Sapone, Sherman Torres, who I'm also acquainted with, and over that weekend, they also got back to me, and a phone call on Tuesday, and by 9 o'clock Tuesday morning, those potholes were filled. So those guys really deserve a pat in the back because, you know, this line can go all the way down to San Pedro. People.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't give you more time than I gave anyone else. Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any more business before this council?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They're posted and referred.
That clears the desk.
Announcements. Mr. Labange.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for the recess. And you went back to class just a little too soon because it came by again and again. And it was beautiful. It did, and it waved. And it wanted to let us know how proud they were of Los Angeles, and now it's on. But it was a very special day throughout Los Angeles. So.
Wonderful. Mr. Buscaino.
Mr. President, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of history here in the city of Los Angeles. Just a couple birthday shout-outs. First to Ryan Ferguson, one of my deputies, alleged deputies here. He's turning 24 tomorrow.
All right.
23 tomorrow. Sorry, Ryan, I love you. And also, just about, the great Tommy Lasorda tomorrow's turning 85. So happy birthday, Tommy. We love you.
Any other announcements? If I could get everyone in the council chambers to please rise for adjourning motions. Mr. Reyes. Everybody please rise. Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. Today I'd like to adjourn today's City Council in memory of Father John B. Luce, a lifelong Episcopal priest who served as pastor of the Church of the Epiphany in Lincoln Heights, a historic church. He died of congestive heart failure in New York City on Monday, September 17th, 2012. He was 81. A Harvard graduate, Father Luz served the people of Lincoln Heights and surrounding communities during his priesthood in Los Angeles from 1965 to 1973. He was a human rights activist, instrumental in uniting local communities, young people to fight for basic needs like housing, food, and education. Father Luz was known among activists as a pastor for the Chicano movement in East Los Angeles. He worked with young students during turbulent times to improve the quality of life of schools in Mexican-American communities. In addition to helping students, he kept the church doors open to Cesar Chavez and the farm workers during the struggles. At that time, that church was 2 blocks away from Safeway. And if those of you who ever saw the old news clippings, hundreds and hundreds of Latinos and Chicanos were fighting for basic rights for farm workers. And Father Luz opened up his church, and the basement area, the congregation area, was just packed with people. At that time, I was about 9, 10 years old, and used to have free lunch. So all the kids would gather, and we'd hear all the different speeches and the heartfelt effort to improve the quality of life for many. Many groups formed and mobilized for social action in this basement, and Father supported several developments that occurred amongst the youth: the Brown Berets, La Raza newspaper, Gonzalfo's magazine, the East LA Walkouts, Welfare Rights Organization, and the Chicano Moratorium. Children's folklorico groups and mariachi masses also started at this church. Father Luz was an honorable man who touched many lives during his service at the Church of Epiphany. He is survived by his nephew, Ian Luz, and niece, Susan Luz. A memorial service is being planned in Father Luz's honor at the Church of the Epiphany. Vaya con Dios, Father Luz.
Ms. Perry.
Thank you very much. I'd like to adjourn in memory of Charlotte Kohler Imislin, who was born August 26, 1929, and passed away September the 18th, 2012. Charlotte died peacefully in her home, much loved by her family and friends. She is survived by her husband, Clancy, 5 children, 15 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. She was a native of Wisconsin and trained to be a nurse. She married in 1949 and celebrated her 63rd wedding anniversary in March. Years later, she became a computer analyst until her retirement. She was a secular Franciscan. Her faith was the cornerstone of her life and provided peace at the moment of her death. For the past 40 years, she worked to help the lives of many lost men and women, and her home became a weekly refuge for them. A rosary and viewing will be held at Malino and Silverman Mortuary, 7366 Osage Avenue in Westchester, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd. The funeral ceremony will take place on Monday at 10 a.m. on September the 24th at St. Mark's, 940 Coeur d'Alene Avenue in Venice. Burial will be held Black River Falls, Wisconsin, next to her mother and son. And in lieu of flowers, she would like to have contributions sent to the Humane Society in Washington, D.C., and she was the wife of Clancy Imislin from the Midnight Mission.
Thank you. Mr. Alarcon.
Council members, I'm very disappointed to have to announce that Carl Clark McCraven passed away on Wednesday, September 5th. Carl grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, Port Gibson, Mississippi, and Washington, D.C. Following discharge from the U.S. Army, he obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. Carl worked in radium testing at the National Bureau of Standards and later at Lockheed Aircraft in Burbank and TRW Systems Unmanned Spacecraft Division. On relocating to California, he learned that as an African-American professional, he was not welcome to live in Burbank, so he settled in Pacoima in 1955, where he involved himself with others similarly concerned with the many inequalities and inadequacies in his community. Carl served on the boards of directors and committees related to health, mental health, and youth welfare. He was the original member of the Mental Health Association. He served locally and regionally as president of the NAACP and served 6 years on the NAACP National Board of Directors. He was a founder of the Pacoima Memorial Lutheran Hospital and Hillview Mental Health Center, Incorporated, serving as Associate Administrator of the hospital and Executive Director of Hillview. As a community mental health director who spent his life in disadvantaged communities, he pioneered his own concept of integrated mental health care, hiring and training paraprofessional counselors to help people access primary health care and substance abuse services and secure housing so they may live independently in the community. He also developed Hillview Village, a 50-unit permanent supportive housing complex on the Hillview campus and scattered sites of housing across the San Fernando Valley. Carl was 86 years old when he died, comfortably at home as he had wished, and he was cared for by his loved ones, free of pain and content in the knowledge that he had planned well for his life's work to continue. The family is grateful for the Kaiser Permanente Hospital Panorama City Hospice team who provided skilled and gentle end-of-life support. The services were held on September 19th, but a celebration of life memorial will be held on October 10th at 5 p.m. at Porter Valley Country Club, 19216 Singing Hills Drive in Northridge. In lieu of flowers, donations should be sent to Hillview Mental Health Center, a nonprofit corporation, and gratefully received at 12450 Van Nuys Boulevard in Pacoima. Carl is survived by and leaves many to cherish his memory. First of all, his loving wife, Dr. Eva McCraven, who also is the director of Hillview. His partner in his life's work, his children, Carl B. McCraven, David and Larry Mapes, Maria and Sam Stone, his granddaughter Laura Chen Mapes, his brother and his family of Hamden, Connecticut, and a host of loving family members. I know him as a tremendous stalwart in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, who in terms of the people we deal with in politics, one of the most intelligent and quiet people who had the ability to move you with knowledge, not with passion. But he was a tremendous institution and will be sorely missed. He gave new life to people who otherwise had been tossed aside. So Carl McCraven, I always felt he was a doctor, and he should have been, but he will leave many people believing that our community has lost a great leader.
Thank you, Mr. Labange.
Thank you. Members, I ask we adjourn in memory of Michael Sherman Hoffer. Lived to be 70 years old, took from this world too young. Born in Virginia, raised in San Diego, went to San Diego State, studied theater and speech, got a job at Universal, started working at Universal Pictures, was in some shows, Mannix, and some of those shows at that time, but then continued to work at ABC in special projects. I met him in 1978 at the border of France and Italy when they used to have checkpoints. He and his life partner of 41 years, Don Klohauer, were there, and they had California licenses and passports, so we talked, and they lived in Beechwood, so I became a friend. Over the years, he was very involved in the First Congregational Church in their choir, and their music director, was a wonderful volunteer. He also served as a travel agent in business. He was much loved, survived by one son and many grandchildren, as well as sister, nieces, and nephews. I ask we adjourn in memory of Michael Hoffer.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. And as any other adjourning motions, as a reminder, Tuesday, members, please, let's do something special. Let's get here at 10 o'clock, all of us, so that we can start. We're going to have a couple of big items on that day. With that said, this meeting is adjourned.